All right, guys, welcome to another live stream. Welcome to another live stream. In today's live stream, we're going to talk about 3 psychological money hacks that I think everybody should incorporate, everybody should have. Now, I know the title, my channel is called Financial Nutrition. So mainly it's about, doing things that could help you have good money habits, right? But I think at some point, you need to get ahead. You need to not only keep up, but have a surplus of money. And I think the way to do that is changing your psyche, changing your mentality, your mindset when it comes to thinking about money. I know for me it has helped, just my overall view of what is money, what's a lot of money, what's not a lot of money, and it changes, right? So, if yesterday a gallon of milk might have cost $2, but maybe 2 weeks later now it's $4 or $5, right? Now that's an exaggerated example, but we have seen that type of inflation when it comes to certain consumer goods, milk being one of them, cereal, car, everything has gone up in price, right? And one of the things that haven't gone up in price is people's salary, all right? And maybe they have, but it hasn't kept up with the inflation rate. So yeah, today we're gonna talk about 3 psychological money hacks. I think when I incorporated these things, I started to see my finances get better, my overall view of money get better, and it helped me start to look at the right numbers when it comes to goals, my money goals, my finance goals. All right. So, number one, the first psychological money hack is to surround yourself around people that talk about big numbers loosely. Now, what am I talking about? Now, for me, this comes from my YouTube, like the people that I'm subscribed to on YouTube. So Meet Kevin is one of them. I watch Valuetainment as well. It's not like a finance channel, but they do talk about business and money and things like that. Richard Fain is one of those people too. Um, I watch Graham Stephan, but hey, he kind of throws around big numbers as well, but not as much as like a Meet Kevin or um, like a Richard Fain. And Richard Fain doesn't throw around big numbers, but he's kind of aware of what number you need to get to. And I'll get more into the specifics. But who else? Graham Stephan, Meet Kevin, Richard Fain. Financial education. I think that's Jeremy. I think his name is Jeremy, but it's the financial education channel. I would say Andre Jake too, kind of, and I'm gonna get into the specifics, but I'm trying to think of who else. But yeah, typically everybody that I follow on YouTube talks about, they talk about big numbers loosely, right? So for instance, I'll give you an example. Meet Kevin, he'll do his trades and he'll say, okay, I made 100K today, made 200K today, and obviously that's not like a regular day, but it's often that he's making 30K plus per trade. Right now, obviously he's using a big amount of money. He's using leverage, he's in options and things like that. But still, the whole part of this is the psychology of getting your mind to think big numbers. Like, what is money, right? Because the problem I see for most people, they get, like, let's just say they start off with making $10 an hour, and maybe after 3 5 years they're making $20 an hour, right? Now obviously that's better than where they started, because they started at $10 an hour, but making $20 an hour right now is not a lot of money, and it's hard to pay for expenses. When it comes to medical expenses, food expenses, car expenses, housing, $20 an hour is probably not going to get you much. And if you add on, like a spouse, some kids to that, it's just you're not going to be able to do it $20 an hour. All right. So, but in your mind, you said, okay, I started at $10 an hour, but now I'm at 20. So in your mind, you think you're doing good. And I think a lot of the reason why most people think they're doing okay, or they're keeping up, is because they don't surround themselves with people that talk about big numbers loosely, right? I guarantee you, if you were sitting around and you had, like, if 10 out of the 15 subscribers that you're subscribed to, was talking about, oh, I made 20K today, I made 40K today, I made 100K today, or maybe not even in a day, maybe in this month I made 50K. All right, so that changes your mentality about money, because you're like, wow, this person made 50K this month and I made 5, right? So they tend to, and they may have did it in one trade. Now, I'm not saying that the process of making that money is easy, but it gets you thinking in that direction, right? And that's what I think most people need to get to. I think people need to start thinking in big numbers and understand that a lot of the times the money you make is probably not to your fullest potential, right? You could probably be making 2 to 3 times that money if you just adjust it. Maybe you took on a bigger position, you took on you went to another job, or maybe you picked up another, like a side hustle. But yeah, I think, surrounding yourself with people that talk big numbers loosely is just going to get you in the mindset of saying, okay, these people are making this amount of money. Maybe I could do that too, right? They're regular people. They didn't really start with much, and they're making 50K on a trade. So it just gets the mind going, and it just kind of just shows you what's possible. And yeah, I think most people don't do that. They're either subscribed to a lot of entertainment, or something that's, or somebody that's just talking about the average. There's a lot of people that are talking about the average, and it's not that it's bad to be average, but again, I think the whole point of being good with money is to get ahead at some point and not just keep up with what everybody else is doing, right? You don't want to be financially literate, but make good decisions with money, but then you're not making more money, right? At some point you have to say, okay, I've been making $20 an hour for the last 10 years. I can only put in so much overtime. Maybe it's time for me to do something different. And I think it'll be easier to see that if you surround yourself with people that talk about big numbers loosely. I had, like, my whole financial circle on YouTube: 100K here, 2 million portfolio here, 500K here, 200K there, right? So it's very normal, because I hear it all the time. And you don't have to be there. The great part about this, because people are like, oh, well, I'm not at that point, I'm not at that level yet. That's actually the perfect time to be surrounding yourself with people that talk about big numbers loosely, in my opinion. Because, even if you only had $100 to your name, I think surrounding yourself with people that talk about big numbers loosely, I think that's the best time to be around those people, because then it kind of motivates you to say, okay, I don't have much, and this person's talking about a 50K trade he just did, right? And again, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying it opens up your mind, opens up your psyche to say, okay, this is possible. Maybe I don't get 50K. Maybe, what if I could get to 5K, right? So, yeah, I think that's the number one psychological money hack. It's just to surround yourself with people that talk about big numbers often. Try to do it on a weekly basis. I would, every day, if you could. Like, if you have a favorite podcast of somebody that's just killing it, and you just hear all the big success stories. I think that's I think that's a good way to get ahead financially. All right, so number 2. Number two is always three times your financial goals, right? So what am I talking about? So let's say I had a financial goal. Let's say in 5 years, I want to have 100K, right? So I would say, every time you have a financial goal, at least 3x that. So if you say, okay, in 5 years, I want to have 100K, make that 300K, and you'll be more, you're basically setting that goal higher. So, now you're thinking at a 300K level. Before you were just thinking at a 100K level, and maybe you only were going to hit 25,000 in those 5 years. But now you three extra goals, and psychologically you're saying, okay, I can't have the 100K plan to hit the 300K plan. So, now you got to come up with a new plan, and basically set yourself up to hit that 100K by developing a plan to hit the 300K. And I think people should do this with their financial goals. It just gives you a cushion, and it gets your brain thinking on ways you could make more money. Once you set the goal higher, your brain says, okay, I can't do the old way. The old way was 100K. I can't, if my goal is 300K, I need to do something a little bit different. Maybe I need to stay up a lot more hours. Maybe I need to buy an additional course. Maybe I need to get an additional mentor. Maybe I need to invest some more money into the project. And then again, it just says, okay, if I need to do this, though, maybe I got to go to the bank and try to get this. Or maybe I have to, read up on more books about a certain topic, right? It just gets you thinking, and it gets you in a state of, okay, I'm always going to 3x my goals. That way, I'm always going to hit my initial goal because I'm always overachieving. And again, it's just a good psychological way to trick yourself to meet your initial financial goals. I think 3x is pretty good. Some people, I know Grant Cardone is the 10x, but I think 3x is a lot more feasible, and it just gets your brain going. That's just my opinion. All right, so that's number two. Number three, and number one and number two, those are like, just the dreamy psychological hacks. But number three is actually get stuff done. All right. So number one, number two is like, okay, I'm gonna surround myself around people that talk about big numbers. I'm gonna 3x my financial goals. But at the end of the day, if you don't get anything done, then none of that's gonna matter, right? So you definitely want to get some stuff done. Now, you don't have to hit those goals, but at some point you need to see some success, right? Because I think a lot of people go so long without getting a win, a W, and it kind of kills their confidence, because and they're okay with that because they surround themselves around positive people that are always talking about money, so they kind of think that's progress, or they have their goals written out on the whiteboard, or they have it written down in their notes, and for them that's good enough. Oh, the people that just talk about it and don't actually get anything done. So, and you could get caught up in that, and not actually get anything done. So you want to make sure things are actually getting accomplished. A good way to keep up with this is to make sure you have milestones in between your goals, and making sure, okay, maybe I have a 3-year plan. I'm going to check in every 6 months to see, okay, how far am I into that goal, to make sure I'm at least getting something done. So you say, okay, within 6 months, I want to have this piece of this project, this goal done, and I can go ahead and, check that off, right? To say, okay, at least I did this. So at the end of 3 years, maybe you don't hit your goal, but you can go back and say, okay, I had these 6 checkpoints, and I got things done. So yeah, actually get stuff done. I think most people don't get anything done. I think, having those milestones is very important. And yeah, those are the 3 psychological money hacks. So number one, surround yourself around people that talk about big numbers loosely. I think the people you're around. You know, if you're around broke people, you're gonna think about have broke thoughts, right? So you're around people that are not doing anything, you're not gonna get anything done. So yeah. 2, always 3x your goals. I think this is gonna give you a buffer, and this is just gonna help you hit your goals a lot faster. And 3, actually get stuff done, create milestones, so that way you can see, okay, you know, I had a 3-year goal. I got this done in year 1, and you can just keep track of everything, right? It just makes sense. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are the 3 psychological money hacks. And yeah, I'll see you guys on Friday. Take care.